So we are in, I guess we'll show this. We're in 9-4 for what it's worth. So after that little warm up, this lesson should go pretty fast because assuming you did your homework last night and you practiced finding the volume of cylinders and prisms, this is the exact same except now we take our formula and just apply 1/3 to it. Big B is always area of the base. Height, this is where some people get screwed up. Height has to be, who knows the specific that I'm going to say? What do you mean straight up? That's not nice. Perpendicular to the base. So with cones, this is where it gets weird. A cone doesn't matter if it's a perfectly shaped cone. You could pull this point over to the edge and it could be perfectly aligned with the edge and this could be vertical and your cone could look really weird. It'll still hold true the 1/3 property. Your prism can do the same thing. You can pull that point to any location, and as long as you can find the vertical height, even if the point of the cone was out here and then it came in, the vertical height is still whatever it is perpendicular to the base. So even if the height falls outside the shape, the equation, the formula still holds true. So, all that being said, let's whiz through this so you guys can get some homework time. So do I need to say hurry instead of whiz? Are you too immature for the word whiz?
Yeah, Alex.
What did you mention?
I think I just got the answer.
So,
In this problem, you will
is our entrance to the Louvre, right? So, it's an art museum. It's mainly underground, sub street level. So you go in and the entrance. I mean, it's not that I've ever been there, but it's gorgeous. Like seen it in movies, seen pictures of it. So it is 35 meters long at the base. It's a square base pyramid, and then you like walk in, you walk down, and there's all kinds of really expensive art. So what would be the volume of the Louvre pyramid? So Grant, you got to talk me through how you did it.
Okay, so the base is 35.4 times 35.4.
Yeah. So big B equals 35.4 essentially squared, and that gives you. You gotta give me the working numbers as we go.
70.8.
You did times 2. We want to square it.
I just went to the wrong problem that I did earlier. 1,253.16.
53.16.
Yes.
So then.
And then times 21.6.
So then we'll take the big B times the height. So we take that 1253.16 times 21.64. We get that value, then we can just divide by 3.
Yep.
And that's actually the order I like to take. So instead of having to use the 1/3 fraction, just do your big B times your H and then divide it by 3. So another way you could write this is volume equals big B times H over 3. Which, depending on how your brain works, whichever way you think is easiest, take the way you think is easiest. We end up with a volume of
9,039.460.
dogs, cats, pizzas,
Pizzas.
meters cubed.
I love
Man, I wish I had that many pizzas.
Yeah, and if you accidentally put feet, realize an error in your label in volume is an extreme error. There's a huge difference between 9,000 cubic meters and 9,000 cubic feet. So, say you were doing a project for like an engineering firm, like, hopefully you guys get big boy jobs someday.
Big boy.
Big person. Oh my gosh, Leah just like sent fire out her eyes. Hopefully you get a big person job. So let's say you were computing something. HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Every HVAC system in any building is based on the cubic feet inside of it, or the cubic meters, or whatever the volume of air is.
So if you mess up,
If you use the wrong system, you wouldn't have enough air. Or if you use the wrong system, you have too much air. There's actually a building, my friend who's an architect was telling me, there's a building that's built with, like, there's distance between the walls because the air pressure, the building is so tight with air pressure, when the elevator moves, it was creating like a pressure lock and people were getting headaches because the pressure of the air, when the elevator would push the air down, like things were built so well that it was like too tight. So they ended up changing the design of, like, I forget if it was a future building or they went back and they renovated, but they had to add air gaps. So it's like all these things you don't really think about till you get into the math and you like apply all these things. I didn't want to capture, I wanted it clear. So try this on your own. Some of you probably already have the answer. Find your big B. Multiply by your height. Divide by 3.
got it.
I'm surprised that nobody had yet talked about that with the quote that I have up. Behold the turtle, he only makes progress when he sticks his neck out. I was waiting for somebody to bring up the turtle.
I like turtles.
Right in my doorway. There's always a quote. I change it either every day or every other day.
Oh, I always thought it was Oblique, but
Huh? No. So did you ever know 2 words? You were probably really young. 2 words. What's your head rater?
Oh my gosh.
So you left all of those.
I have Rex Quando teaching me La Comida.
That's the last thing.
All right, class. What'd you get for your area?
32,100,000.
Ooh, I heard 32,000. I heard 32 million. 32,100,000. Or that would be a nice application for scientific notation since your number is getting really large. Now let's try it with different types of pyramids. So now when we have bases,
In this problem, you will find the volume of a pyramid. What is the volume in cubic feet of a square pyramid with base edges 40 feet and slant height?
the height, we have to solve for the triangle. So we're given the slant height, we're given the base dimensions. What do we do here? Seth? The Pythagorean? Yeah. I like your emphasis. So, how do we use that? What numbers do we use?
We can use half of the base.
Half the base.
That would be
20.
20. We also have the hypotenuse already, so 25. And we just
So we're going to use the Pythagorean difference, right? So we're going to say because I have the hypotenuse and one of the other sides, I'm just going to set up a difference formula to figure out what my height is squared. Well, give me the work. 25 squared, we should kind of know these.
It's a dilation.
625, right? So Leon sees it's actually a dilation of a 345. Because this becomes 625 minus 400. So that's going to equal 225. Square root of that is 15. So 15, 20, 25 is a 5 times dilation of a 345. So now that my height is 15, then we can solve it. Base area would just be 40 times 40, 1,600. Then the height I know is 15, so I can say volume 1,600 times 15 divided by 3. Here's what's easy too. You know you're going to divide by 3. Do it to a number that's easy. If you do 15 divided by 3, I can just really take 1,600 and multiply it by 5. So volume ends up being
8,000 pizzas.
really
No, 8,000 pizzas.
8,000 cubic
Wait, does that
feet.
If 8,000 pizzas huge.
Wait, there was a question. What? Or was it not a real question?
No, we answered.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, I did not get your guys' grading done. I'll have it done by tomorrow. Thought I had paper stand back. Try this same situation, but now it's not a dilation of a 3, 4, 5.
Well, it's still technically.
Well, okay. Yes, there would.
No need to go there, Jacob.
Oh, thanks. Actually, you're only the second one I've gotten back, Leon. So I'll probably just register 2 teams like I normally do. But the fact that you turned one in serves well to get you on the varsity team.
Varsity.
Math counts.
Oh.
Yeah, I turned mine in. Like my mom signed it, but like I forgot it.
So if you can't remember to bring me back a slip of paper, it worries me that I would take you to competition.
You haven't come to any of the practices yet. Oh yeah, you're going to.
Hey, give the man a chance. Chill. Is there ever a day that you don't have basketball? Like if we met on, well, okay, a school day.
Not even Sunday.
Wait, what? Monday, Wednesdays here?
Sometimes.
At what time?
Like right after school.
Right at, so you could be here for extensions? Let me know because then we can have another meet or switch the day of the meeting that week or whatever, so let me know. Yeah. You gonna talk me through this one or you got a question?
I'll just talk to you this one because I forgot my question.
Okay.
So,
How'd you find the height?
what you do is you find half 24.
Yep. Which is?
12. And then I don't know if you guys do it like this, but I do it a different way. I just do 13 squared. Minus 12 squared.
That's how we did it on the last one.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't remember.
It's all good. So 13 squared, 169. 12 squared, 144.
Then you get 25. Wyatt.
I memorized all those. You have 16.
Shut your mouth.
I memorized the 16.
And then you get 5. Then you find squared.
Yep, we got a radical. We get 5 for the height.
Then you get 24 squared.
Good job.
Then what? Oh, yeah, then we got to take the whole base squared. So sorry, Greg, your classmates are being a little rude. What's your big B? Once you do 24 squared, what'd you get?
76.
Huh?
576.
576. Then our volume will be that big B times the height that we have, which we got 5.
Divided by
960
meters
cubed.
Oh my gosh. I wish
If you don't have the label, it's not right.
Let Greg have the spotlight.
I wish we had pizzas that had a radius of a meter.
There's some places that do make like crazy big pizzas for parties and stuff.
Yeah, but like I heard with this the largest commercially available one, you have to like pre-order like several days, and like costs like a few dollars.
Grr. All right, try the next problem on your own. Cones are just like pyramids.
I wasn't that good at charades.
We got a pizza when we were in Disney that was probably 2 feet wide. It was pretty big. And actually, it was like one of the cheaper like it was a cheaper place to eat for Disney. It was back in Italy, like in Epcot. There's this like, it's nicer, but it's not super expensive. It's
I wish my mom did.
all the way back in Italy. So, gentlemen, you got my answer for the next question?
I do.
I do.
They don't.
Yeah, I do.
I think I have it.
Wow, that did not seem right, but I think I got it.
So, Ranger Ron was essentially my first boss at Scout Camp. There was Reverend Tim, who was like in charge of camp, but Ranger Ron worked right above me. He literally lives in a teepee. When the weather's nice enough, he lives in a teepee. So he's this cool guy, lives off the lane. He's partially Native American.
Where does he charge his phone?
He probably doesn't have a cell phone. If I were to bet, Ranger Ron doesn't have a cell phone.
Does he have a pager?
Dude, he lives off the land. He literally traps animals and like eats rabbits and like deer and squirrels. Yeah. So one of the things that teepees are really effective for is the space that they provide and their design. They can have a fire in the teepee and the smoke would still filter out the top because it is approximating a cone, but because where all the sticks cross, where all the I forget what they call those. The well, the poles that hold them up, they have a specific name. The sticks. It leaves an open vent. And actually most teepees, see this little flap right here? There would be a string attached to that, so if the weather gets bad, they would like pull the flap up over and have more protection. Or if the weather's really nice and it gets hot in the teepee, they'll open it up and be able to vent out more of the air. So it's actually a really, really good design that's been around since before we were ever on this continent. So if we try to find the volume of this teepee, our base is now just the circle at the bottom. It tells me I have a diameter of 14. To find that big B, be careful because we don't want the diameter. We want pi times the radius squared. So we get 49 pi. Then we're going to multiply by 12. Yeah, so since it's going to be times 12 then divided by 3, we could just combine the 12 and the 3 and really say it's 49 pi times 4, or it's 196 pi.
And
feet cubed. And then we could approximate it using the value for pi. And it would be how much?
615.75.
No, 16. Round.
Wait, Mr. Hudson. Who's the other person who like gave you the paper?
Max? No, Shahid. I'm surprised Max hasn't brought his though.
Yeah.
Max and Cal. Yo, have they brought theirs?
No, I have a TI 30.
No, but they need to.
Oh, it sounds like something I would totally do.
Try this. Radius of 3.5. Yeah? Lodge poles. That's what it is. Thank you. That was going to drive me crazy. Power of Google. They are also sticks. Thank you, Straddle. And same process here. I'll give you 30 seconds. Maybe not even, because you guys are pretty quick. Again, with the height being 6 feet, instead of taking your big B times the height times or divided by 3, we could just here take our big B times 2, because the height divided by 3 is 2. So all we need to do is find the big B first and then double it. Then what'd you get?
77.
B cubed. Cubic.
Okay,
77, approximately. And this is where that example comes into play about it doesn't matter where the top is. So we call this an oblique cone. So when the cone does not have the perfect distance, like the point at the top is not the center of the circle. So we have our oblique cone here. Now this still looks like a cone, but we'll get to situations where it doesn't even like, it looks like a really weird cone and then the height is outside the shape. Don't let it throw you, still works. Height is 30 here, height is 25, diameter is 30. So my radius here is obviously 15. So when I set up big B,
This problem, you will find
1/3 pi r squared times h. My radius is 15. I wish this would go further faster. Okay. What'd you get?
I got this.
Grant?
30 divided by 2, or 15 feet.
Oh, in terms of pi. Divided by pi. 1,875.
Says, give your answer in terms of pi, and then, says also, round to the nearest cubic foot.
So which one's right?
Both.
Oh.
Alright, this is really annoying.
I got 2 right answers in 1 question.
Boom. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Either 1875 pi or 5,890 feet. cubed. And I got it, and then we're wrapped for today.
I got you, Mr. Hudson.
Good, because my smartboard does not got me.
I do.
Alright, so here we have one where the height is the edge of the cone. So your height, the line of your height, is perpendicular to the base already.
Does it
So,
tell you that?
huh?
Like, how do you know that?
Oh,
Can we just got it?
Just because how it's drawn, because it tells me the height is 12 and that is the side length.
So we
Like,
just
if-
assume.
Yeah, because if the height wasn't 12, we'd probably see a dotted line or something that was indicating this is what we're given. Yeah, it doesn't have the right angle, but it should, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this was 100% accurate, we'd have a right angle right here. And we have our answers?
yes.
Yeah.
144 pi equals 4.
Yep. 144 pi.
Meters cubed.
Oh,
So guys, you have a good 15 minutes left. You could easily. I don't know why these didn't. I don't know. Those are just the real ones. Alright guys, I want to see you invest in good time to do this work. You can even partner up and compare if you would like.
Can I go eat up a hot pocket because I'm hungry?
No, lunch is next.
But I am
No, no, Kale. Kale,
You know what I do?
Ah. Ah.
I brought